I would always be in such a victim mindset, like for the longest time. Like people always say, well, you got to have a growth mindset, and if you have a victim mindset, then like you're fucked, right? I don't fuck with victim mindset people. I don't want to associate with them. But it's like the victim mindset people just need some help to
Mm,
switch into a growth mindset. That's all I needed, right? I'd look at people making a bunch of money, and I'd be like, I can't do that. That's not me. They have it easier. They're lucky, right? But actually being able to sit down and go, okay, I'm feeling victimized, right? I am a victim. That's okay. It's okay to be a victim. When I realized it was okay to be a victim, and I stopped resisting being a victim, then I was able to choose whether I wanted to be a victim or not. So much of society tells people you can't be a victim, you can't be a victim, no victim mindset, especially in personal development and business. Don't be a victim, growth mindset. But that makes people resist feeling like a victim, even if they've been through the worst circumstances that they couldn't control from their point of view at the time. They couldn't control it. They are a victim.
yeah.
And you have to accept that you're a victim in order to transcend past being a victim.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to the High Performance Management Podcast, episode 18. Today, we're here with Spencer Hosking, reality transformation coach. Hopefully, we'll be diving into all things deep metaphysical, mindset, spirituality, entrepreneurship, relationships, all that nerd stuff that me and Spencer already talk about. So, it's really great to have you on, mate. I think we're both doing some really good work in the field of mindset, new up and coming people, taking over. So it's good, man. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me on. Happy to be here.
That's great. Let's get struck right into it, right? So Spencer's got an interesting history, right? So he started here in Perth, WA, went over to America for what, 10 years, you said?
Yeah, yeah. Well, started in Melbourne, actually. I was born
Oh,
in Melbourne and
Melbourne.
then
Oh, mate, nomad.
went to
There we go.
Perth. Yeah, bounced around. So I bounced around everywhere. Went to Vegas for 10 years, partied it up over there, and then just like, became a total degenerate out in Las Vegas, as you do. And then I figured out, well, this isn't working for me. And I just remember like during COVID, right? I, my family like lost their jobs. We lost our income, our savings, everything. And I find out my girl's been cheating on me. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck? And I just remember I was like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, I gotta start a whole new life. Everything's gone to shit here. So I was like, all right, bought a one-way ticket to Australia, back to Perth. And yeah, 3 days later, I was away. Started a whole new life here. And then yeah, within a year, I basically decided I wanted to write the best story ever written, like for anyone's life ever. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. And so I just like grinded it out for a year straight, got everything I wanted, bought everything I wanted, met my dream girl, got my dream body, started my dream business online. And I'm just like, bam, 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 full offense now. So yeah, man.
Thick. And so reality transformation coach. We just said about this before we got on the call.
Yeah.
It's different. What is it you mean by that, and how? What are some of the key fundamentals, two or three key fundamentals that you work with guys or girls to transform their reality?
Yeah, yeah. So I take a step back, right? I I meet my dream girl, right? We come here, Janelle, she's awesome. And I spent ages just going through so many girls who were just not right for me. And eventually I found her. And I just remember sitting at this VIP event and I'm just looking into her eyes, right? And we're at this like VIP lounge. I'm sitting there, there's like music everywhere. And I'm just like, I tell her about my vision to become this coach, right? And help people, help entrepreneurs with their relationships and with their mindset, overcome mental blocks and stress and anxiety, and change their whole reality, right? And I didn't even believe that I could do it at first, but I saw in her eyes that she believed in me and my vision. So that's when I knew that she was the one. And that's actually the moment when my program, Superhuman Systems, was birthed, right? So it's a program for entrepreneurs to overcome their self-sabotage, procrastination, stress, and anxiety to become the individual that they truly admire in every way, every day. A happier, healthier, wealthier, superhuman version of yourself, right?
Mm. And so when you say reality transforming, they're going from their previous self, where they might be self-sabotaging, anxiety ridden, lost, directionless, to then their superhuman self. What are some of the key things that you've seen that really help people make that change?
Yeah, it's really just like creating a duality between this loser, lower version of yourself and this higher, superhuman version of yourself. And then creating that split creates a choice for you to be one or the other in every moment of every day and everything that you do. And so my program is all about never breaking out of that character, always being that superhuman version of yourself. And the only way to do that is through total presence, a 24/7 meditative flow state constantly. And so that's what the program helps people to do, is to get into that, let go of negative emotion, let go of traumas, let go of everything that's holding them back from being that version of themselves.
And so when you say total presence, because I know you mentioned you love spirituality, it's something you've maybe recently come around about. What does I think it's tossed around a lot in the mindset and health and wellness space, but presence, what is that to you? How do you be present?
Yeah, so presence is just, I define it as flow state, right? So flow state is this state where time, you don't even know time as it passes by, right? And you're free from negative emotion, free from negative thinking, and you're not even thinking at all. There's no thought. There's just experience. There's just sensation. There's the raw data of experience, the raw data of light, sensation, feeling, emotion, all of that, right? So you're just noticing the very minimal inputs that you get from living.
And so you're saying like a absence of maybe the perception that we have from events that is causing people. And I guess is that what you mean by, like, if someone has like a trauma, like a reoccurring self-sabotaging moment because something happened in their past, you find like a lot of people viewing the world through that lens. And
Oh, dude, everyone is just reliving their past on repeat over and over and over again until they come across someone at a higher level who's overcome that already, who can say, hey, look at it this way. And then they go, oh, what? I didn't even know that was possible. Like yesterday, I had a call with a client who just signed up. It was his first time, his first day on the program. And he told me about one of his friends who had just committed suicide, his best friend. And he was telling me how he wants to be a coach and he wants to do stuff online. And it's because he wanted to help people like his friend so that they wouldn't go and kill themselves, right? And I was like, okay, let's go through this memory first before anything. Before I teach you how to make social media posts, before I teach you how to make money online, before I teach you how to do any of this stuff, right, that you want to do, let's dive into why you're actually doing it. And it was this sense of completing the past. And so we went and we found the negatives of his friend not killing himself. And we found the positives of him killing himself, and just completely neutralize that charge within his own mind, so that he came out of that session, his first session, going, whoa, my best friend killing himself was one of the best things that ever happened to me. But he started out the session going, this is the worst thing ever. And so that flip, you can do that with anything. Anything in your past that's ever happened to you, you can neutralize the charge for that. And then you can choose to see it from a different point of view, a different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more empowering.
Yeah, I totally agree. I use this a lot. Me and you talk about this a lot anyway. Neutralizing, living in a point of neither negative nor positive, and accepting both sides. And so I guess that's kind of what you mean by like presence as well, isn't it? When it is neutralized, it's not polarized. It's not towards one and not towards the other, but you see it for truth, both sides. Yeah, cool. I like that. And so, reliving your past, what are some other things that people are potentially doing that is stopping them from being that superhuman self? So you've got here being in total presence, and most people being stuck, not being present because they're reliving their past. What are some other things you've found?
Well, most people just hate their lives, and they go to work at a shitty job for small amounts of money, and they waste away their entire life doing things they don't want to do. And then they wonder why they're depressed and they're anxious and they're stressed. Well, look at what you've been doing for the last 10 years. Right? So it's just the actions, the daily actions that people take every single day. They know what they're supposed to be doing. They're just not doing it. Why? Because their beliefs are out of alignment with what they really want. Most people have no idea what they actually want. If they actually sat down, everyone who comes on a sales call with me, a discovery call, they don't know what the fuck they want. They really don't. And the whole sales call, the whole sales process is just them figuring out what they actually want out of their own life. So whether I close the deal, they sign up for the program or not, it doesn't matter, because they actually get clarity on their life, which is the biggest change that anyone can actually have. The clarity on what they actually want and what they desire. Because most people have no idea.
Yeah, totally right. And when you say people that hate their lives, they kind of only know what hate is if they're comparing it to a version in their own head. And so it's like, it's funny. Yeah, you're right. Like most people do know what they need to do and what they want to do, but they haven't really sat down and put the time in and just ask these type of questions, which is why coaches are so important, having those mentors ask those questions and extract what it is you want. Yeah. Totally agree.
Dude, the hardest part, like what actually holds people back is what held me back, for example, was that I thought that I couldn't ask myself those questions. I couldn't sit down and meditate. I couldn't relax. I couldn't take it easy. I couldn't take a step back. I couldn't allow it to just come to me. I had to force everything all the time. I had to be go, 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 push, 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 and trying to change things and make more money because I was in a scarcity mindset, right? Of just needing more. I need this. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough, right? And that neediness pushes everything away. It pushes the things away that you actually want when you're in that state of desire.
Energy,
Literally.
Please date me. But it's
horny teenagers are like, man, I need that. I need that girl. I need that girl. And it's just like, go away, weirdo. You know? And that's what money is like. It's like, go away, weirdo. I don't want to be near you, right? Girls are like that. Money is like that. Everything's like that, right? So you push it away when you need it too much. So you're not ready for it until you don't need it anymore, which is really hard for people to grasp, but it's the truth. So when you can find that fulfillment that you're actually looking for, right? Because we think we want one thing, but what we really want is the way that's going to make us feel. When we can feel that now, then we come from a place of power and we come from a place of magnetic attraction, vibrational resonance on the same frequency as that reality, and we attract that reality to ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen it happen myself, as soon as you start moving away from I need, because even needing, right, it infers that you don't have it. And so that's got a frequency there. But I've seen it myself, as soon as you like stop caring, like I've done sales a long time, man, the best sales are the ones where you're like, look, you don't need to get it. If you want to do this, go ahead. This is the reason why I think it's good. Up to you. And then they're like Alex Hormozy says it as well, like the person who's got the most leverage is the one that's got least to lose. And then, people like who have that with their own goals, it's like you put it all on the line, no options mentality. Like that's what Andy Frisella says all the time as well, the 75 hard, no options, don't leave anything. Go for it, 100%. No,
I love Andy. Dude, Andy taught me about visualization because I didn't take it seriously. I was
Neither
like, nah,
way.
this is like hippie shit, like The Secret and manifestation and all this stuff. I was like, this is hippie stuff that broke people do to make themselves feel better about
Yeah,
their reality that actually sucks,
absolutely.
right? And then I heard a billionaire or multimillionaire, I don't know how much he's doing now. He's doing more than a million a day, I think. But I heard someone who's doing that much money actually talk about this and how it created his reality. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I should probably try it.
Give it a go. Like, he is a little bit more than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went and tried it. And within weeks, dude, I was just like, oh, okay, this does work.
Yeah,
Like,
what
this
else
is
can I
changing
do?
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. And so obviously we're talking probably this is a bit more woo-woo stuff, I reckon. I like it. But you know, in terms of mindset techniques, like I think it's really good. Like we're talking from a place where we've kind of done a bit of work and we've got that. But I you probably remember as well those times when you are first starting out, and it's like, you know, I was actually just recalling this morning, you know, about the beginning of my journey around like 2015, 2016. Like I did hate my life. I did have all these things that my habits were producing, this depression, this anxiety, this like hate for, you know, what I was doing. But then I knew there was something more. But there was still, you know, you get those habits of thinking. What are some of those things that you found work the most with trying to get you out of those states, put you more into that, what you said was a meditative flow state, 24 hours a day, like that?
Yeah.
What are some of the techniques you have besides having a
Yeah.
clear vision?
Yeah. So it's like in terms of tangible, actual techniques to get out of a negative state, it's recognizing that the negative state's there for a reason, right? It's there to teach you something. There's something to learn from it. So when you're in like anger, for example, like if I get angry now, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm angry. God damn it. Like I've got the, I've got so much energy right now. Like I just want to kill someone. I just want to like kill it. I just want my competitors to die. Like I feel that anger so intensely that it motivates me to do everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck yeah, like I just got a bunch of shit done. So, and when I'm in fear, right? When I'm in fear, I'm like, oh, this is the biggest test right here. This is the biggest test. It's all awareness, though, dude. It's like the hardest part is becoming aware that you're even negative. Like most people don't even know that they're in a negative state. Most people don't even know that they're in scarcity,
Yeah, they're
which
just
is why
walking
they just
around
stay in
like,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
So, so what I've found actually works, that's a super tangible thing people can do, is just setting a reminder on their phone or setting an alarm, right? I have an alarm every 3 hours on my phone that goes off. And it just plays a song that I like. And it says, are you positive or negative right now? Realign, right? And so it reminds me to ask myself that question. Like, am I negative or am I positive right now? If I'm negative, then I'll do an exercise that I teach my clients to release all negativity. So, quick little meditation takes like 5 seconds. All negativity gone, bam. And then from there, I do a visualization, hand on the heart, right? Heart Math Institute is showing that biofeedback increases your relaxation and allows you to control your emotional state better. So, hand on the heart, close the eyes, and just allow yourself to imagine what it would be like to be in a positive state, to have exactly what you want, right? To have everything you want in that moment, because we're always in the state of desire. And if we can allow ourselves to actually have that in our imagination, then we actually create the same emotions internally. And then we go into a positive state. So it's literally that easy, right? And when you set alarms for that to happen every 3 hours, for me, it lasts 3 hours, right? After 3 hours, I'm just like, I start to get negative again. I might start to bite my nails or something, or like I might start to like just scroll through random shit and I'll just go into a daze again. But then the alarm will go off and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm back. Okay, we're aware again, right? So just having that habit created, it starts off with that alarm. That's the way to do it. But I wake up every morning now and I go straight into a meditation, straight into visualization, and I have a journal process that me and Janelle do while we're in bed, first thing, like when we wake up, and it just sets us right for the whole day. So these just they're little things, and they don't take long. They don't take long at all. But when you do them consistently, you get the results, right? It's just like working out. You work out once, it's not going to make you fit. You're still going to be a fat motherfucker, right? But if you do it every single day and you eat the right thing every single day, you can't lose. You're not going to be a fat motherfucker anymore. You're going to be jacked, right?
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing for your mind.
Yeah.
If you have these same habits in place for your mind, you're going to be jacked mentally.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be unstoppable.
It's funny, man. Being jacked mentally, it's something you can't really like see. Like I know I didn't really see it until like you get an event that you remember used to trigger you or something, and you go, oh wait, I can see my own thoughts now. Like, and you're like, hang on, I'm thinking I'm a piece of shit. Is this resourceful in this moment right now? And it's like, fuck, man, the fact I can think about thinking, like, that's pretty crazy, eh?
There's like next level, right?
Yeah.
It's like consciousness. Like as it grows, as you grow in consciousness, you're just like, oh, I'm aware of this thing that I thought was me before. Holy shit.
Right? And human mind is insane. It makes you, I don't know if you think this, but it always gets me thinking as well. Cause like we're so early on this journey. What about the people like the elites at the top? Like what's their brain like? They're probably manipulating reality or some shit.
They have it all figured out. Yeah. The funny thing is, when you go through this journey, you start off using really like complex terms and stuff because you want to make yourself feel good. You can see it all the time. Like everyone online, they're like using all these big words and all this language and self-sabotage, procrastination, imposter syndrome, like all this shit, right? All that is like, it's all bullshit. They're just words. They're just terms, right? The people at the top know all this, right? The people who've been through this for years and years, they know it, but they use those words consciously from a place to market to create this desire, right? To create this desire in the market to make people feel more negative so that they can sell them the positive solution. That's what marketing is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's creating that split. So as you grow in consciousness, you also grow in your ability to do sales and marketing. And that's when the next level, like spiritual marketing, comes into play. And all the top guys, they all know how to do it.
Yeah.
They all know how it works, but they won't tell you about it because it doesn't sell, because most people don't understand it. Even me just talking about it right now, I'm pushing away a lot of possible people that could be interested in my stuff, right? I don't care because I only work with high level motherfuckers, so it doesn't matter. But for a lot of people, if they want to build a big audience, they can't talk about stuff like this. They have to talk about the celebrity gossip and the drama and the COVID and the, all this shit, right? They have to talk about the popular mainstream stuff that resonates with ordinary people living their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's because a lot of people, they don't really have like a bigger vision, I think. And so things like drama is like probably the most fulfillment they get. Is they're like, well, this is interesting, which is kind of sad because I think we're built more for that. We're built to do more, impact more, change more lives, bring the energy back. And
some people aren't even built for that, dude. Some people are just fucking losers. Some people are losers. And
I don't think it's by design though. Like personally, like I'm reading this book at the moment on dopamine, and like the world we live in now, like the foods we eat, the like computer games we have, the social media we use to communicate, they're all designed by like fucking neuroscientists and food scientists for optimum dopamine dosage. And these high, like we're all pretty much addicted, like whether we want to do it or not, right? Like obviously there's alcoholics, people addicted to heroin and like porn and things like that. But then like low key, we're all slightly addicted to high dopamine foods, right? Like you eat pretty clean. Like before you started eating clean, what was it like when you're eating, takeout more often, sweets, and then you just want to eat more of those, but then like you stop doing that and you start eating, like clean, like steaks and veggies, and you just your whole everything change. Like you get more willpower, like you're able to like focus more. It's crazy,
dude. What's crazy about it is you start to eat healthier. You start to have more of awareness around what you're eating, and it changes everything, and you level up. And then the next level is eating junk food consciously, eating junk food with awareness. So intentionally going and eating like shit to make yourself feel shit, but to be able to transmute those bad emotions into positive emotions. That's like highest level, right? Because at the highest level, it doesn't matter what you eat. It really doesn't. All that matters is the intention and what you're doing internally within your own body and mind, because you have so much control over your whole bodily system, right? Your whole physiology. So when you get to that level, it doesn't matter what you eat. It really doesn't, because you control how you feel, you control how you look, you control everything, right? But to get to that point, you have to go through the whole process, tracking your macros, finding the right things to eat, find out what affects you in what way, and go through that whole journey just to find out it's not even necessary. And it's the same thing with everything, right? So, I mean, dude, like bringing it back down to earth a bit, yeah, when you start to eat healthy, everything changes, man. The whole brain changes. Like I remember I was so depressed and so anxious and just so unfulfilled like a couple of years ago. And I was eating like microwave meals every single night, right? I was just eating like party pies and like pizzas and stuff. And then I started having like mushroom teas, and I started, like chaga and reishi and cordyceps. And then I started cooking my own meals, having steak, right? Steak every day. And the difference, man, huge, huge difference. When you go from like microwave meals and stuff to mushrooms and steak, massive difference. But then when you go from steak and mushroom powder up to the next level, right, which is like
Nothing
tiny
faster.
little 1% changes,
Yeah.
like it's crazy.
I love it. Yeah, it is all connected, and I like what you're saying about at the highest level. It is just even what you eat. It's just what you impose on yourself anyway. It's like why there's some like Asian 120-year-old who smokes every single day. It's because she's like reached some type of enlightenment and has meaning and sees fulfillment in life, and she probably loves smoking, and the fact that she loves it changes how it impacts on her body. Probably a bunch of other shit as well, but like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, it's why you see smokers who live for ages,
yeah,
right? And you see drinkers who live for ages. It's
yeah,
not the drinking necessarily that's bad, it's the emotional addiction to
mm,
that. So
yeah,
it's getting a sense of fulfillment, getting a sense of love, getting a sense of relaxation from the nicotine,
yeah.
from the alcohol. That's the real killer. When you can't control your own emotional system and give yourself that on command, you're fucking yourself up.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And what would you say with those people that maybe they're listening to this and they feel like they are stuck in that, where they can't control it? Is like an emotional addiction to certain foods, certain behaviors. What would you say to those people?
Dude, I've been addicted to everything. I've done every drug under the planet. I've been addicted to absolutely everything: women, drugs, alcohol, porn, fucking food, working out, personal development, watching YouTube, podcasts, everything. And what I figured out was none of it's necessary at all when you learn how to meditate and visualize. When you can meditate and visualize properly, you don't need anything. Simple. You give yourself everything, right? So, I mean, I've been meditating for like almost 8 years now. So I'm a veteran at this shit, but I still got a lot to learn. It's a continual process, right? So it's just creating a new habit. Addicts are the most committed. Addicts are the most committed people. They just need a better outlet. So when you can change your outlet from smoking that cigarette to getting up in the morning and doing push-ups, or getting up in the morning and meditating, if that can be your addiction, you change everything super fast.
Do you
But
think there's a fine line?
it's all about your self-worth, right? Like if you actually value yourself, you're going to invest in yourself. You're going to put the work into yourself. But if you hate yourself, then there's nothing you can do.
Mm.
You're just going to keep sabotaging yourself over and over and over again, because why would you want to help yourself? You don't even love yourself, right?
What are some things that you experience with self-worth on your journey, or like the
Dude,
key big changes that you made when you started being like, oh, that when I did that, I did hate myself. Now when I do this, I love myself.
yeah, dude, it was a big mindset shift when I was getting with girls that no one should get with, like, for the
Red
longest time.
flags.
And yeah, dude, and I just wasn't valuing myself. And then I realized that I had this repeating pattern in my head that I thought was normal. And it was a belief that I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough. And that was a core belief that created my entire reality. So when I got down to that and I figured out what memory was associated with that, right? What memories were all caught up in that. And I went through and I painstakingly removed each of the charges for each of them. It disappeared. And I was able to flip that belief into, I am good enough. I'm great. I'm amazing. And actually believe it. Be able to say that without having a voice in the back of my head that says, no, you're not, motherfucker. You're a piece of shit. No, you're not. Without having that anymore. Because both sides of the brain, the ego and the self, are both in alignment, right? And so this is more like esoteric stuff, changing the beliefs. But on an external level, it was just finding a girl who was actually someone that I respected, right? Because I needed to change my external reality to reflect my own self-worth, right? So you can do it either way. You can change the internal and then have the external reflect that automatically, or you can change the external and hope that it's going to change your internal. And through doing that, through changing the external, eventually you figure out, well, it's not actually doing anything internally that's really lasting. So I better figure out how to do that, how to go through that process. Right.
Yeah, that's really I think that's really deep, that I don't think unless you do it, you can get it. Changing the external, you can, I feel like, yeah, again, that's what we're in, it's kind of planned that way from the external, talk about marketing, right? Like that's all external. They're selling us on the fact that we don't, the things we don't enjoy about ourselves, or the things that we think we're lacking, then they're selling. Like it's because of that difference that we're like we think the externals will make us feel different, and then that's how people get addicted. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's great. Like selling and marketing is great. It's awesome, right? It's a good thing, especially because there's so many people who think that they need something outside of themselves to make themselves happy. So it's great that we're selling them those things, because then they'll go and buy it and they'll be like, oh, it still didn't make me happy. Huh. Or it still didn't make me fulfilled. Whatever the word is, it still didn't make me feel loved, right? Then they figure out, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me get something else. Let me get something else. Let me get something else. And the whole game of life is just to collect as many things as possible to try to make yourself feel the way that you want, just to realize that you didn't need it in the first place, right? And so that's my goal, is to get people everything they want. I'll get them all the chicks they want. I'll get them the perfect girlfriend they want. I get them the business that they want. I'll get them the money that they want. I'll get them the body that they want. We'll get you all that so that you can realize it's not actually what you needed in the first place. And then I'll give you exactly what you did need, which is just to look inside yourself, an ability to be still and do nothing and still be happy, fulfilled, and complete.
I like it. And I think we've talked a lot about the now. Let's talk about your past. So I think you have a really interesting story. You obviously, we talked a little bit in the beginning where you found out your girl cheated on you, you moved over, but you said there was a time you were homeless, you tried a bunch of different ventures. Like from my point of view as well, I find this interesting. This is why I like the podcast, right? Because I everyone's got a story, and like even right now there might be people listening like, oh, Spencer just started being a coach. Like, how can you do that? But it's not like that, right? Like, how many things have you failed to get to this point? What are the things you've done before? Like, take us through that, because that's what I'm interested in too. Obviously, you work with entrepreneurs as well, but you yourself, you've done things. Maybe
Yeah.
take us through that journey.
So I started so many businesses, dude. I mean, I started my first little business when I was 9 years old. I was selling parking spots on my parents' lawn. There was a football stadium by the house. It was always full, all the parking. So I just put up a sign, $5 parking on my lawn. Got a bunch of cars in there, started making money. I was like, okay, cool. So if I provide a solution for people's problems, then they will give me money. Okay, let's keep doing that, right? And I also invested in Bitcoin and stuff like very early on, like 2015, 2016. I, yeah, I made probably like, 10K on that. I put like $300 in and made like 10K on that. And then I was like, okay, so I can make money for nothing as well. So I was like, I can make money helping people and fixing their problems, or I could make money for nothing. Which am I going to do? Well, let's just go with the nothing one. That's easier, right? So I really hammered that out. I ended up selling the Bitcoin for a swimsuit company, an e-commerce store, right? This lady on Instagram, she was like, I'm selling my company 150K, hit me up. She was living in Miami. And I was like, all right, I don't have 150K, but I got this Bitcoin and it was like at its peak, right? Like 2018 peak. And everyone was saying, it's going to go to like $1 million. It was all in the news. And so I told her, I was like, I'll give you this Bitcoin for the company. I don't have 150K, but this has the potential to go to 200K within the next year. I like really sold it to her. I believe that it did. Right. Right after we made the deal, Bitcoin tanked. So I was like,
that's great.
okay. I got out. All right. And I was left with this e-commerce store that was full of unfulfilled orders. Hundreds. I didn't check anything. I was like 18 years old, 17 years old, still in high school. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't check anything. There was $1,000 of debt on the store and there was hundreds of unfulfilled orders. But I was still like, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna make this work. These people need their orders. I'm not gonna like let this bitch go and scam these people. I'm gonna go help them. Right. And so I sent out all these orders. I sent out gift cards and apologies to all these people from the company being like, I hope you'll come back. We could send your order out. Sorry, it's been like 2 months. We haven't said anything. We ghosted. And so I just went through and fixed up all the orders. And yeah, I started making, some money with it. And I remember I had my first $1,000 day with it. And I was just like, oh my God, like I'm a genius. I've made it. I've done it. Holy shit. $1,000. Meanwhile, I was blowing like $500 a day on ads. So I wasn't really profiting much and I was just burning cash. But I didn't even know that, right? Because I was just so new to it. I had no idea what a P&L statement was. I had no idea what profit and revenue and difference were. Like, I had no idea. And so eventually, I just got into the business because I wanted to be around models in bikinis, right? That's all I wanted. And I wanted to learn about business, right? And so I got all that. And then one of my friends from school, he hit me up and he's like, dude, I want to buy your business off you. And I was like, all right, sure. And he ended up buying it off me for pretty much the same amount that I bought it for. So I made a bit of profit with the business and then I sold it for what I bought it for. And I learned a lot about how to run ads, how to build a brand, how to sell, how to do customer service, how to build websites, how to do copywriting, marketing, all this shit. And it was really good, man.
That's pretty
it was
crazy
a good.
because what you were like, what, how old then when you sold it?
When I sold it, I was 18.
That's nuts. So you saw at 18, you sold a company for 150,000.
No, I sold it for what I bought it for in Bitcoin. So it
Oh,
wasn't 150,000.
okay.
It was like, like 10K, right? So I
That's still
sold.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like for
it was pretty
18, that's
funny.
nuts. Yeah.
So I had that money and I thought it was shit. I was like, oh my God, I just sold a business, right? I was like totally cocky. And I went and I
Yeah,
bought my
an
Yeezys, bought some
entrepreneur.
Yeezys, and yeah, I had entrepreneur in my bio and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. And yeah, I blew through all that cash super fast. I just started throwing parties, right? And I had all these girls around and I was throwing all these parties and just buying like designer shit. And it just made me miserable. I was just like, this is not making me fulfilled. I don't feel the way that I thought I was going to. And yeah, man, that was one of the first steps where I realized, okay, it might not be about the money, and it might not be about the girls. It might be about something else, right? It might be something internal. And I started after that I started a t-shirt business, printing my own t-shirts. So it was like screen printing. So I made all these designs. So it was super funny, right? Like funny designs. One of them was like, I had like, it was like cunt. It was like the word cunt with like flowers and like love hearts and stuff. It was kind of cool. It was like free hugs. It was like, yeah, just like random shit. And I sold a bunch of those, and but it wasn't really something I could do online because I was creating those shirts all the time, right? And so I was like, all right, I need something online. I want to do something online. So I got back into the Web3 business. That was at the next peak, right? And I started looking into NFTs and yeah, all these crypto coins and everything. And I started making money on them. And I got a job in Web3. So I was working full time as a marketing manager for this Web3 game. And I put like 14 grand into this project. And that was like the top. And then it just tanked. And everything tanked, man. And what I realized through that was you can't get something for nothing. It doesn't work. All those Web3 companies, they're all trying to make money, but they're not trying to solve problems, right? And so that was a huge lesson that I learned there. Was like, okay, I got to solve problems. I got to do something online. I got to do something fulfilling. What am I going to do? Well, I've always wanted to be a coach, but I never thought I was good enough to do it. Maybe I am good enough to do it. Let's see. Let's just try it. So I started coaching people for free, and I started getting them results. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually like changing people's lives here. This is awesome. So then I started charging for it. And I started charging more for it and more. And I was like, okay, I can just like sit back with a few clients and like make 20K a month. That's pretty cool. So now I'm like, all right, well, why am I paying such a high cost of living in this country that isn't actually that great of a lifestyle when I could go and just like spend some time traveling the world? And so now I'm setting up a plan to go and live in Thailand, go to Bali, travel around the US, Japan, while working on my business. Mm. And now I'm just like, why did I ever work a 9 to 5 job? That's my journey. That's where I'm at now.
I like what you're saying. You made money but didn't solve problems. I think that's a big one, especially there's so many people trying to. I think I saw this stat, paraphrasing. It's out of like 9 to 5ers, like they did like it was like an HR company. It was like 50% now want to be their own boss. And so it's like there's this massive change now where people are like seeing, all these people online trying to make businesses and be their own boss and do what you're talking about. And I think, yeah, that's a really big one for anyone listening that's considering it. Find out not how you can make money, think about like your ideal life, but what problem are you solving?
Yeah, exactly. It's like most people have the capacity to solve a lot more problems than they think, right? Most people think they have a lack of resources, but they actually have a lack of resourcefulness because they're not figuring out what the problems are that they can solve and then going and solving them. That's all it is.
Yeah. And so now that you've done all this stuff leading up to now, what's been that driving factor before? Because like I don't think you don't just like want to make businesses. Like, did you have some influences growing up that you like? Who was some of your role models looking up to when you were younger? Did you have some YouTube mentors? Some like did you have like someone in the family that ran a business and you're like, oh, that's kind of different? Like Uncle Gino is pretty cool there. Like I kind of want to do that, like.
Yeah, well, my dad ran his own business, and he had a show. He has a show still in Vegas called the Australian BJ's Show, and it's a band, right? And so he was always traveling around the world, just playing music, doing what he loves. And I was like, oh, okay, well, everyone should be doing that. Traveling around the world, doing what they love, and making a bunch of money. So it seemed normal to me. It seemed realistic. And then I found YouTube mentors as well. When I was dealing with like my social anxiety, not being able to talk to girls, and I was a horny teenager. And so I went and I found like the pickup guys online, and I was like learning from them. And I saw that they were doing like millions of dollars in sales, right? Like there was some dudes who done over $100 million in sales. And I was like, oh, that's normal. Okay. Like I can do that. If that guy can do it, then I can do it. And so it was just like always looking at people and going, that's possible, instead of looking at people and going, I'm a victim. I don't have that.
Yeah.
But like,
And
dude, at first, I was like that. I was the victim where I was like, oh, I don't have that. I don't have that. But flipping that into, okay, I can do it. I can change it. I can make shit happen for myself. Like I can take responsibility. Biggest thing.
yeah, and now you're doing the Renaissance networking event, and that's a really awesome thing as well. So anyone listening, we'll put it up, put the details in the link below. But you know how long have you been running that now? And now it's grown to wherever it's at, which is in such a fast time. And there's a bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah.
really cool guys in Perth there.
Yeah, so the Renaissance it's a group of like-minded entrepreneurs in Perth who we meet up every second Wednesday at different restaurants and bars and venues around Perth, just to talk, network, and have fun, man. So we're at 155 members now, I think, something like that. And yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. We got trips planned as well. Like we're going to be doing stuff overseas, and we're going to be doing big dinners and everything too. So there's a lot that's going on with that. And yeah, if you're an entrepreneur in Perth, definitely check it out. A lot of cool guys there. And yeah, it's been huge just having that support network of all these other entrepreneurs who are doing the same things,
Yeah,
because it normalizes
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
It normalized it for me. Where before I was around all these 9 to 5ers who hated their life and they were miserable. And now I'm around all these entrepreneurs who are trying to make shit happen, and they're making good money, and they're being fit, and they're spiritual, and they're healthy, right? And it's like that just becomes normal. That's the norm. And then you level up to the next level, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. The importance of having the right people around you is like I say this, I reckon like every 2 episodes we get to this conversation. But it's like, yeah, it's amazing. Like just being around someone, that's doing better than you. And if you're not a victim, right? You look at that and you're like, fuck, man, like this guy's doing it. And he's not born different. Like we're the same, we got the same brains and same blood vessels, and we're in the same country. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
Yeah,
and
dude.
you get that, there's always someone doing better than you. And
Yeah,
it's you learn or you die.
yeah, 100%, man. Like I would always be in such a victim mindset, like for the longest time. Like people always say, well, you got to have a growth mindset, and if you have a victim mindset, then like you're fucked, right? I don't fuck with victim mindset people. I don't want to associate with them. But it's like the victim mindset people just need some help to
Mm,
switch into a growth mindset. That's all I needed, right? I'd look at people making a bunch of money, and I'd be like, I can't do that. That's not me. They have it easier. They're lucky, right? But actually being able to sit down and go, okay, I'm feeling victimized, right? I am a victim. That's okay. It's okay to be a victim. When I realized it was okay to be a victim, and I stopped resisting being a victim, then I was able to choose whether I wanted to be a victim or not, right?
mm. That's really
Because so
powerful. I
much
like
of
that, man.
society tells people you can't be a victim, you can't be a victim. No victim mindset, especially in personal development and business. Don't be a victim, growth mindset. But that makes people resist feeling like a victim, even if they've been through the worst circumstances that they couldn't control from their point of view at the time. They couldn't control it. They are a victim.
Yeah.
And you have to accept that you're a victim in order to transcend past being a victim.
I love that. That's actually really good. I reckon that was like the gold nugget of the episode. I haven't. That's why I love doing it, and that's why I think everyone needs to speak to everyone, because everyone's got a piece of info that you don't have based on their unique experience, and just even the way you worded that, yeah, like that makes sense to me. Because yeah, as soon as you accept it, like it is okay, but you can't change unless you've accepted that's the baseline. Because if you're just
Yeah,
like, no, don't be a victim, you're still dancing around. Whereas if you're like, I've been a victim and this is what I've done, but I don't want to do that anymore. Then
yeah,
you make the
dude.
change. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I went to
Yeah. Yeah.
therapy after I was homeless and I broke up with my girl, and all that bad stuff happened in my life. I went to therapy for a few sessions, and I just felt so judged, right? And I was talking about how I was a victim. And she just kept saying, well, you can't be a victim. You're not a victim. No, you're not a victim. And I was like, well, yes, I am. Like, that's where the level up is. I can feel it. Like, I'm a victim. Like, stop telling me I'm not a victim. Like, I'm a victim. Right.
Yeah.
And that broke me out of that depression really quick.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, oh man, this is a touchy one, right? Especially from people in, the educational system and, around psychology and therapies. Like, yeah, the victim, you can't say. It's like, no, 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 you're not, don't victim shame, blah, 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 blah. But I think that's like the most important thing is it is like if you're coming from that state of being a victim, but you're then putting on this judgment and clouding it around it, like you can never not be that either, because then you
Yeah.
don't know who you are or
Yeah.
what you want to get to. That's
There's
cool, man. I
three
like
levels. There's three levels, right? There's you either have it or you don't, right? Victim mentality. And then there's you can do it, you can do something about it, you can change, you can force your reality, you can hustle. Then there's the third level, which is you can be it. You can be it internally,
that. Yeah,
right?
and be it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's true. And then that's like the transformational process as well with your
Yep.
belief. You start something, you're shit at it. You've got that you're confident for no reason. You're cocky. I can do this. Like when you started your e-com, you're like, fuck yeah, $1,000 in a day. And then you get to these new problems and you're like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. And then
Yeah.
you start doing more and you're like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then you get that confidence to go out and do all the other businesses and sell it. And then now you're being it and you've got
Yeah.
confidence in your competence to achieve things. So I see that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Dude, I remember like getting my first $7,000 day, right? Making 7 grand in a day. I was like, holy shit, what? This is possible. Like everything unlocked for me, right? And I've had so many different moments like that where like I break past what I thought was possible and like everything just unlocks, right? And the more of those moments you can get, the more you stack those, the more you level up. So it's just like full offense, full offense. Just keep going, getting those.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where the level up is.
I love it. I think we got to wrap it up now. Hey, you got a client call at
Yeah,
probably
I got a
now.
client call like right now. I told him I'd be a bit late, but
No,
we'll
that's cool, man. I think we've had a decent chat. How can people find you?
Instagram at Spencer Hosking, YouTube Spencer Hosking, TikTok Spencer Hosking everywhere.
I'll link it all below. And the Renaissance, what is that? Every 2 weeks on a Wednesday. When's the next one?
Yep. Also my website, superhuman.systems. That's my website. Yeah, you can find the Renaissance on Facebook. You can join up that. And yeah, we have meetings every 2 weeks, every second Wednesday.
Beautiful. All right. Any last words?
Last words. Be a victim. And then stop being a victim.
I like that.
Right?
That's great.
Be a victim, then level up out of it. Get out of it as quickly as possible. Right? Be a victim, accept it, bam. Next thing, next thing, next thing. Keep going.
Awesome, man. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, man. It's been a good chat. And we'll speak very soon at the next Renaissance.
Yeah. I'll see you then,
Thanks,
man.
brother. Have a good one.